Former LSU wide receiver Kyren Lacy was found dead in Houston on Saturday night. An LSU official confirmed to CBS Sports. Lacy was charged with negligent homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless driving back on December 17, 2024, after prosecutors said Lacy left the scene of an accident that killed a man. Baton Rouge CBS affiliate WAFB reported that a grand jury was scheduled to hear evidence in Lacy's case Monday. Lacy caught 58 passes for 866 yards and 9 touchdowns in 2024 with the Tigers. It was his third season at LSU after 2 at Louisiana. 2 days after the incident, Lacy declared for the NFL draft, which is 11 days from now. Kyren Lacy was 24 years old.
What's going on, y'all, man? It's a pleasure to be here today. You're going to hear it in my tone of voice. It is a sad day. We did lose a college football superstar. He didn't make my Legends Never Die series because obviously his legacy was cut real short. And it was a lot of tragic events. A lot of people got mixed opinions about him. First off, rest in peace to Kyren Lacy, man. You know, it really hurts to find out that the young man committed suicide 2 days before going behind in front of a grand jury, you know, for the hit and run vehicular homicide. You know, I know it wasn't purposely done. You know, the man had a bright future ahead of him, had a lot of weight on his shoulders. So thank y'all for being on Tony Talk CFB today, man. You know, and a moment of silence for him right quick. All right, let's get it back in, y'all. We're going to dive right into his early life, and I'm going to give y'all a little backstory about him. This might be the first documentary on Kyren Lacy. Anyways, let's get it. Yep. Anyways, y'all, Kyren Lacy was born December 27, 2000, the year, and he passed away April 12, sadly, 2025. He was an American football wide receiver. Anyways, he did play college football for the Louisiana Raging Cajuns and LSU Tigers. His early years, obviously, he grew up in Thiobardox, Louisiana. You got to kind of deal with me and work with me because I don't know how to pronounce this, but he did attend Thiobardox High School, however y'all say it. Jump in the comments, tell me it is. You know, as a senior, man, he had 54 receptions for 864 yards with 18 touchdowns. You can't tell me that's not raw, you know? Ranked as the 10th wide receiver in Louisiana with the 2020 class, too. You know what I'm saying? He committed to the University of Louisiana at Lafayette to play college football. As a 3-star recruit, which he felt some type of way about, let's not forget, man. The man was raw as hell, but he felt some type of way like, yo, you gonna rank me as number, 10th? Like, nah, I should be top 5. You know how everybody should be confident about that, you know? Anyways, so he came in as a 3-star recruit. He declined a lot of offers like Houston, Louisiana Monroe, Louisiana Tech, Miami, and even Virginia. I don't know why he ducked Miami, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, as a true freshman in Louisiana at 2020, he actually did good. He played 11 games, had 28 receptions for 370 yards, if I'm not mistaken, but 4 touchdowns though, right? And then 2021, he played 13 games, right? He had 22 receptions and it was 300 something yards, right? But he had 6 touchdowns. So we see the progress here with Kyren Lacy. Not to mention, y'all, just so y'all know, he grew up somewhere that's not the best spot. He does come from the bottom. You know, he was carrying the weight of his family on his back. By the way, I just want to throw that out there. Remember that when you're coming from nothing, you know what I'm saying, and then you got the weight of your family on your back. And he did, I heard, you know, from me doing my investigation, you know, I reported he didn't have no crazy major stuff, but at the end of the day, some of his friends sometimes weren't good. He was a great dude though, you know what I'm saying, and sometimes friends to get you messed up too. You know how that goes, man. Y'all know how this shit goes. I've seen it a lot of times, man. It's just messed up. Sean Taylor, I was making a video on Legend Never Die about him, and he passed away, and it was actually a dude that actually knew him and hung out with him, Jason Mitchell. But anyways, we'll get into that, allegedly, right? So anyways, man, like I said, he played 13 games. He had 22 receptions, 304 yards, 6 touchdowns in 2021, right? So after that season, he transferred to Louisiana State University. He started 2 of 14 games his first year at LSU in 2022, right? Recorded 24 receptions for 260 yards. Not for, I think 260 or 270, but let's not forget he was there with Malik Nabur. He was there with, Brian Thomas. You feel me? Come on, he was the 3rd receiver on the LSU depth chart, bro. But he still was there's more opportunity there. He was a smart kid. I'm going to go. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to go. You know, and he was behind them boys, you know. Then Lacy started 10 out of 13 games. He had 30 receptions, right? And 558 yards with 7 touchdowns, bro, if I'm not mistaken, or 8, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, the 2024 season, obviously, once them boys left, he came back, and now he's the #1 receiver. But in December, he did declare for the 2025 NFL draft, which ironically and ironically, he passed away April 12th. It was going to happen a week from now. You know what I'm saying? And before his death, just so y'all know, he was scheduled to see the grand jury tomorrow. I'm dropping this video today. He lost his life yesterday. So he was supposed to be going in front of a grand jury for his charges tomorrow. So let's dive next into the next chapter.
Today, Jayden Daniels got the majority of the first team reps, with Gary Nussmeier nursing an ankle injury. But the battle is still wide open between those two and veteran Myles Brennan. Seth Lewis shows us tonight why no matter who wins the job, they will still have a lot of familiar options to target.
Megan, the wide receiver room at LSU has a lot of Acadiana flavor. STM's Jack Bech, Westgate's Kayshon Boutte, and Como's Malik Neighbors were 3 of the top 4 in receiving yards for the Tigers last season, and they will have big impacts this year. Another person that could factor into that equation in 2022 is UL transfer Kyren Lacy, the junior, showing flashes during 7-on-7s today, leading the team in catches during that period.
So as you see in this clip, Kyren Lacy was set up with some of the best people like JAYDEN Daniels, man. Look at this guy. He just made it to the NFC Championship. Like, man, it's amazing, right? He was here with the team. He was actually third in the depth chart, right, for some time. After you seen this video, you said there's weapons, and Kyren Lacy might be a breakout player. Brian Kelly had a lot of different opinions on him, right? Some of his performances on the field and things he did got him fined. His attitude, he was sometimes like showing, like maybe glimpses of maybe mentally just being down and doing stuff, because you'll see what Brian Kelly had to say now. 1 second.
Head coach Brian Kelly says for Lacy to reach that next level, the biggest key is consistency.
We think Kyren has certainly the athletic ability. I think for Kyren, it's, you know, at times, you know, confidence is a choice, and he's got to choose that every day. He's got to play with great confidence, and, you know, we can't play with confidence for him. You know, he's got to do it himself, and we really think he's a great player. And some days he doesn't bring that same mindset every day, and we just need to encourage him to choose confidence every day. And if he does that, I think he's going to have a great season for us.
Now, when it comes to STM's Jack Bech, we didn't get a chance to see him at practice today as he is still limited with shin splints.
As y'all gonna see right here, this actually will be one of Kyren Lacy's beginning years in playing as a receiver. Jayden Daniels threw for a touchdown against Alabama's superb defense. They were ranked number 14 in the top 25 at this time. Check this out, y'all. Kyren Lacy. Look, had to show y'all this right quick. Look at the yards after the touchdown. I just wanted to show y'all that right quick. Let's get back to it, y'all. So as we saw what Brian Kelly said about him not bringing the same energy every day sometimes. Like I said, we're going to get into it, and I'm going to show y'all a video where he's gotten fined for doing the pull out the stick, how we say down the way, you know what I'm saying? He got fined, you know what I'm saying? You know, I seen another dude on YouTube. He actually made a video say the craziest YNs crashing out, and it's crazy that he made that video and Kyren Lacy's dead today, but most of it was the antics he'll do after celebrating. I feel, though, man, if you come from the bottom, right, and you make it that far, and you become a star, you were a 3-star, then you come up, right, and then, man, I feel like you should pop your you was behind Malik. I just showed y'all a touchdown pass from Jayden Daniels. Like, why wouldn't he pop his But to find a man, you know, all that, I think NIL, y'all, excuse me to say this before we get back into this, because I'm going to show y'all why he was fined specifically, but as Brian Kelly told y'all, he also was having this, so this could show you not bringing 100% every day. People go through things, you know what I'm saying? People go through things. So sometimes maybe if you're drunk and this situation happens, you might have been going through something stressing, and you just, you know, like F the world, and then boom, tragedy strikes, and there's just too much to handle sometimes, y'all. Look at what he got fined for, though. This is the craziest thing to me. What y'all think about what I'm saying? Like, for real. So what we got here is gonna be an extreme play. You see Lacy, boom. That was such a great play, man. Like, the man, his talent was just impeccable, man. But, you know, obviously, like I said, his problems off the field, maybe, you know, some of that, because some of the gestures we do could show you maybe where we come from. I mean, coming from where he's coming from, Louisiana, like, think about it. Like, you know, what's understood don't got to be explained, you know? So some of our past trauma and things like that lead us there, but we're great athletes, you know what I'm saying? So you got to touch your hat to them being able to stay like that and going through the struggle. But anyways, through these gestures right here is where he's going to end up finding. It's going to cause this whole big thing. There's his coach. There was CJ Daniels, which is in the Hurricanes this year now. They're debating it. Hey, what's going on? And he's already snapping on him, talking to him now. And look, you'll see here. Poop, poop. You know what I'm saying? it was like I'm not sure if it tied the game or not, but I mean, look, look, poop, 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 standing on it, standing on it. So you got to understand sometimes where we come from. So I was saying, y'all, those gestures and all that was getting them fine, and those things don't look good sometimes, the scouts and everything like that, when they try to look at you for your future, right? So a lot of things just were building up. Like I say, his consistency did build. He did end up #1 on the depth chart. I'm going to show y'all these stats progressively as he progressed. He always progressed, went through the struggle, so you got to respect him. In college football, he kind of is a legend, really, His legacy is there. We can't take that from him, man. Rest in peace to Kyren Lacy, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to show y'all also a video where he's kind of looking at Death Valley, man, like, damn, man, like just soaking it all up, And then he even, had a great Pro Bowl performance, We're going to get into that, but let's go start from the beginning right quick. Let's go. As Kyren Lacy kept progressing, obviously, as everybody's seen, you just saw the stats, man. That man made crazy plays, right? Obviously, some things would happen that would tragically just play the role in why he left us and why he passed away at such a young age. It sucks, man. Mental health, man, I've dealt with it. I did a lot of time before. People don't understand mental health and things that happen to you. And, you plan to be this great football player, and you are. Right? You are this great football player, but just one little small decision, one little mistake for the kids out there. I want y'all to know this. Y'all's chasing football, any dream. One little mistake with your friends. Oh, yeah, I got this NIL money, however it goes. You know what I'm saying? Rest in peace to him and my condolences to the family. I got this NIL money, right? Okay, yeah, now I'm finna just go blow this money and be sliding, or I might be stressing, drinking, whatever. Stay focused on the baggie, because now the college kids are getting bags, and they sometimes not even old enough to know what to do with that type of bag. You see what I'm saying? So here we go, man. He became one of the most wanted men at that time.
Thank you for joining us. First on News 2 at 6 o'clock, weeks after a crash that left one person dead, 2 others injured in Lafourche Parish, a former LSU football player is facing charges.
State police issuing a warrant for the arrest of Kyren Lacy, saying his reckless driving led to that deadly crash. News 2's Brittany Weiss with new details tonight.
Former LSU wide receiver Kyren Lacy is accused of negligent homicide and hit and run for his involvement in the death of a 78-year-old man. Louisiana State Police are heading up the investigation and say Lacy was driving recklessly along LA 20 near Perez Lane in Thibodaux on December 17th around lunchtime. State Police say Lacy passed multiple vehicles at a high speed, at one point crossing the center line and entering the northbound lane while in a no passing zone. Drivers in the northbound lane tried to swerve out of the way, causing a head-on collision that took the life of Herman Hall of Thibodaux. Investigators say Lacy went around the crash scene and drove off without stopping or reporting his involvement. 2 days after the accident, Lacy posted on social media a thank you to LSU and announced he'd be declaring for the 2025 NFL Draft. Hall's daughter, Heather Hall Dickerson, spoke with WBRZ and says her dad, a Marine, would have wanted justice. Just days after the crash, Dickerson said she asked state police for a crash report, but one still hadn't been finalized. She says she was told the suspect was a high-profile person and they'd be taking their time with the case. That report, we're told, is still not complete. I asked state police why it took 3 weeks to file the warrant. They say they had to speak with witnesses and look for all possible evidence available to confirm Lacy was driving, and it took time. Brittany Weiss, WBRZ, News 2.
2 others were injured in that crash, including Hall's wife. A representative for Lacy released a statement about 2 hours ago saying, Kyren is fully cooperating with the authorities. We strongly believe that the facts will ultimately demonstrate the truth, but we respect the need for a full and thorough investigation.
So as y'all can see, man, sad. Declared for the draft. It was going to be a first-round pick, probably second the latest, but really first round. I got a mock draft coming up. and tragedy struck, man. Maybe hanging out. It was the daytime, man. If you're drinking in the daytime, you might be going through something. If you're not drinking, you're just trying to speed through that whip, and like that. The guy was a Marine that was killed, and obviously, Caucasian, and obviously they're dealing with a high-profile person. But at the same time, they got to do what they got to do. The evidence is there. You left the scene. No compassion being shown as well. Maybe if you could have got some probation, maybe just stayed, show some compassion. Hey, I'm a football player. My bad. Maybe you could have got, not say, maybe a little something, probation and with some crazy conditions and a big settlement with the family if they allow it. I don't know. But he would have wanted justice, right? He was a Marine. They're going to take that serious. It sucks to see him go from up, from to the top to the bottom, just like that. Started from the bottom to the top and then from the top to the bottom, right? That's just kind of crazy to me. So, I think it should be a lesson learned to everybody because it doesn't stop here now. He catches this case, he declares for the draft, he ends up, turning himself into authorities trying to work this out. So he was going through those legal battles and they get very stressful. Trust me, I've been there. So let's continue. A special salute to Brian Kelly, who stayed behind him and supported him the whole way he could. He did tell him from the beginning he needed consistency. He got that from him. He got the progression. The man declared for the draft, and he was carrying the weight of his family on his back. That's harsh, y'all. To make it from nothing and know that I'm the way out. Because I know in Sean Taylor's situation, it was the same way. That's all that drove him. But with this young kid, he made a mistake, fatal mistake, didn't know probably how to handle it in that situation. And boom, you know what I'm saying? Then it happens, And the car scene was really like, man, it was bad. Let me show you. So as y'all can see, this is the car crash right here. He ended up leaving the scene, but this is the aftermath. Remember, multiple people got hurt. One person died, which was the Marine I showed y'all. But yeah, pretty much this got pretty crazy. Look, Kyren Lacy's attorney denies fault in fatal crash. Let me show y'all what his attorney wrote on the letter right now. I'm about to show y'all literally right now. But look at these damages, y'all. It was pretty bad, y'all. And it sucks, man. It really does, man. This is a sad situation. It woke me up and had me sad. So as y'all about to see here, this is the letter his lawyer left here, and it actually confirmed his death, letting it be known, they would be going before a grand jury for his charges, and, he was never actually even formally charged, kind of from what it says. Take the time to read it, pause the video, but it's unbearable, and yes, it's far from over. They'll be demanding a full and transparent review of how this investigation was conducted and why. Those responsible for this gross miscarriage of justice must and will be held accountable. So there you have it.
Former LSU wide receiver Kyren Lacy is accused of negligent homicide and hit and run for his involvement in the death of a 78-year-old man. Louisiana State Police are heading up the investigation and say Lacy was driving recklessly.
State Police issuing a warrant for the arrest of Kyren Lacy, saying his reckless driving led to that deadly crash.
LSU standout finds himself on the wrong side of the law tonight. These charges are in relation to a crash back in December that left a former Marine dead and 2 others injured.
Even through all the trials and tribulations he was fighting mentally, man, he still went to pro day and showed out, y'all. Let me show y'all a quick glimpse of that so you can know how the story ends. As you did probably know how it ends, but, we're going to give him a moment of silence. Thank you for being here. Subscribe, and we're going to keep it coming to y'all.
LSU wide receiver Kyren Lacy turned heads at Pro Day today. Despite the on-field performance, Lacy's legal situation looms large and could land him in jail. Sean Fazan has the latest from Baton Rouge.
A big day here in Baton Rouge for LSU draft hopefuls at LSU's Pro Day, where all 32 NFL teams were represented to get an up-close look at the Tigers' 2025 draft class. One player who did participate was wide receiver Kyren Lacy. He ran the 40-yard dash, did all the wide receiver drills, but his draft future is still very much in doubt. That's because Lacy faces charges of vehicular homicide, felony hit and run, and reckless operation of a vehicle stemming from a December car accident that took the life of a 78-year-old man. Lacy was not invited to the combine because of that arrest. Today, he returned to Baton Rouge, where he played for a couple seasons for Brian Kelly's LSU Tigers. There is no doubt he has what it takes to get to the next level, but the legal process must play itself out. That'll play a big role on whether or not he actually gets to the next level. At LSU's Pro Day in Baton Rouge, I'm Sean Fazan.
So as y'all see, just recently the man was turning heads at Pro Bowl. Doesn't surprise me. One of my favorite athletes, and he really was all around. Even though I'm a Hurricane fan, but so you know, mentally he was still trying to be there. But these type of articles and things happening makes you lose faith. Some people lose faith, deal with the mental problems, feel like they let their family down. It's too much to wear down, and unfortunately, the consequences of those actions. Some people can't deal with them. Sometimes we got to know how to get therapy, how to get mental health help. You got to be set up for things like that, you know? And I guess it just was set up wrong for him, man. And my condolences go out to his family, you know? And the climax of the story is the fact that he's not with us no more. And that's just what it is, you know? Let me show y'all right quick.
We go. We just learned that former LSU wide receiver Kyren Lacy has died, according to ESPN. It's not clear yet how he died, but we do know his death comes as he was facing a negligent homicide charge tied to a deadly crash in Lafourche Parish. Troopers say Lacy tried to pass several cars in a no-passing zone, causing a head-on collision that killed a 78-year-old man. Lacy had turned himself in and posted bond back in January. His case was set to go before a grand jury this week. He was also previously considered a potential first-round pick in the NFL.
Well, there we have it, y'all. The conclusion of the video with Kyren Lacy, man. We had to do it one time for the LSU Tigers and for the whole college community, you know, football, anything for the sport. We've seen a lot of people come and go. I hope the youth can learn from this. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. I'm just not getting in tune. All these type of things is what I will be covering. Can't wait for football season. Once again, my condolences to Kyren Lacy and his family. All credits to everything that I put together in reference. This is an educational video. Purposes only. Okay, so let's always keep his legacy alive, y'all, and please learn from his mistakes. I want these kids to keep up. I love football. I want to keep using y'all in EA Sports 25, 26. Y'all still in the age range, man. Y'all stay focused, man. Rest in peace to Kyren Lacy, man. Pray for him, y'all. Pray for his family. Our condolences, man. To the struggle against all odds. Tony Talk, CFB. Let's get it.